Well, hello. Here we are. This is 4th of July 2026. And in this series, we're doing bone-in pork butt from Walmart. Nothing special. It is 7 pounds. Um, yeah, 7-pound bone-in pork butt. Pork butts are easy to smoke. You know, they're called what you forgiving, which means it's thick cut of meat. You know, kind of thick. You know, kind of wide. Forgiving means that if you make a mistake, you got time to correct it because it's going to take a while. This is probably going to take 7-8 hours. You know, if I can maintain somewhere around 250. Again, I'm going to be smoking wood, hickory wood. And my gloves, you know, the infamous gloves that I like to use a lot of. I'm going to be seasoning with, of course, your coarse ground black pepper, coarse ground sea salt, and something I found in Walmart is a Sweet Preacher barbecue rub. No, to be totally honest with you, I just play with this stuff. Can't really say it's good, bad. All I know is I can't make it. So we'll start with that. It's not a lot of trimming done in this because as you can see, you got the fat strands here and here. Some of this stuff is going to break down. You got the fat cap here. You don't want to trim that because they're going to protect the meat from the direct heat. So you don't want to trim that. So most of it just slicing it, draining it. Then you put your rub on it and you let it sit while your coals or your wood come up to temperature. But what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to do 2 of these at once. So I'm doing a bone-in pork butt and I'm also doing a brisket. The brisket is going to be a whole lot more involved. You know, that's going to require some trimming, a lot of trimming, and stuff like that. So I'm starting off with this. And what you'll see is I'm going to go off camera, but you'll see me in the technique and all of this stuff. And as you can see, there's not that much to it. So now I'm going to pan down. Now the commentary will continue. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. At some point, you gotta admit, you get what you pay for. At some point, you know. So, oh, that's perfect. So here we are. So it's pork butt, and just a small incision. You know, I'm gonna go over to the sink. Not sure if it's gonna follow me, but yep, it followed me. Over to the sink and drain out a lot of this fluid. You know, for your newcomers, you know, people tend to think that hardware has a whole lot to do with the results. So they want to know everything like, well, what knife set do you use? Whatever. I can't tell you, man. This came from Uline. It was a free gift from my mom. So can't be anything special about it because shoot, it was free. So yeah, got that. Now we're gonna come around and no, it's not gonna come around. Is it gonna come around? Hey, technology. Can't trust it. It does what it does when it does it. So you can get it out of this cryo bag. If you see me wincing every now and again, I had carpal tunnel surgery 2 weeks ago. So you can see it's healing. It's on the mend, but every now and again I'll tweak it and paint will come shooting back. So just every now and again. So that's coming out. Well, and trust me, once the air hits it, it expands. Same 7 pounds. This looks a whole lot bigger. I'm gonna do patty dry. Now, you know, you may deal with other barbecue enthusiasts and they may add stuff like mustard and stuff. They call them binders. And it's like, I mean, if you know anything about dry powder, it'll stick to anything wet. So you can have a binder if you want to. Not a fan of it. Just wasted resources because there's so much moisture in these things that it's unnecessary. So I'm going to use the natural moisture. I'm going to start off with, I'm going to prep all of this stuff now. Again, this coarse ground sea salt, coarse ground black pepper, and then your sweet preacher. Oh, he hadn't been opened yet. So guess we're going to all figure this out at the same time. Smells like all the rest. So I always start off with salt. Salt draws moisture out. If you're doing coarse ground, one, it adheres to the meat. It doesn't seal the meat. And what happens when you seal the meat is that things, the other flavors that you get from your additives, so the flavors that you get from your charcoal, the flavors that you get from your flavored woods and all of that stuff, we're sealed. You know, the meat is sealed with the fine ground stuff, so that level of flavor just sits on the surface. Coarse ground, you know, it gives it a little room. And then it's salt, so it's white. It doesn't really show up prevalently. On a chunk of meat this size, is really not that big of a deal. When you're doing something smaller, pork chops, chicken wings, steak, certain size steaks and stuff out there, you gotta be a little more leery. Now, you don't want to overdo it, but again, it's unforgiving. I mean, I'm sorry, it's not unforgiving. It's very forgiving. Just like you know, if you're doing stuff like ribs, yeah, you gotta be a whole lot more aware because it's a thinner cut. So now we're gonna go to your coarse ground black pepper. Again, you start with the sides. Well, personally, I start with the sides. I don't think there's no one way to do this stuff. That's the whole thing. That's the thing about barbecue. You got people who do it a certain way, but that doesn't make it the only way. That's just their way. You do it enough, and then you start to find your own way. It's like when you first start off, you know, you start looking at videos, and that's when you start hearing, first time you hear stuff like binders and stuff like that, and then over time you realize that I'm just wasting mustard, or I'm just wasting mayonnaise, olive oil, whatever. I'm just wasting it. You know, as you said, now black pepper. I love black pepper. So as you can see, it's on there on the sides, all around. You know, again, this is a fat cap that nothing's going to get through this, but if you season it, then when it comes out and you shred it, it'll be part of it. We go in here. We got black pepper here. So that's that. No garlic salt on this. I mean, not garlic salt, no garlic powder on this. Because again, to me, can't really taste it. So I don't use it if I can't taste it. Now we're going to the sweet preacher. Again, I got it from Walmart, you know. Also use all kinds of brands. So I advise you to just try them. Find the one you like, and until you find the one you like, you just keep experimenting. Now this, I give its heaviest dose because this, along with the salt, along with the pepper, is going to form the bark. But we know what salt tastes like. We know what pepper tastes like. So the extra flavor is going to come from here. You know. Now, people will say, "But Jay, you contaminating your jars." No, man, I'm really not. You know, when I come back, you know, trust me, I'm going to wipe all of this stuff down. Why? Because it has to go in the cabinet. If I don't, it's going to be sticky. You know, it's backyard barbecue. You know, this isn't a retail kitchen or anything like that. So, and try to pick up all of the excess on the sides. As you can see, there's a certain look to it. You know, then you get here, and this where you really go heavy because this is going to actually seep into the meat. And then pork, particularly pork butt, you can season this, let it sit overnight. And what'll happen is all of the salt's in the rub and everything else, it'll start to draw the moisture out. Yeah, it'll start to draw the moisture out so it can sit 24 hours. Yada yada. Not so much for beef. You do it with beef, it'll soak in, and somehow or another, it seems like it's going to filter out the salt. And when you go to eat it, the salt is going to be the only thing you taste sitting on the surface. So, finishing this off. Then when I finish, I'll set it to the side and just let it sweat. So, finished product. Bone in pork butt. Bone in when it's all finished. You know, we'll do the typical test to make everybody think they're pros. You pull the bone out and the bone will come out and the meat will remain. I mean, it's always fun because if you get the result you're looking for, it make you feel like you're doing it the right way. At least you have something to measure it by. But as of right now, this is the pork butt. Coming right back, and we're going to start trimming the brisket.